Hi, nobodies. It's the last day of 2019. So today I wanted to talk about time. More specifically, how we spend our time. And excuse me if I yawn a lot. I do not know why I am yawning a lot. I'm about to suffocate. Um, so everybody's different. And it's the beautiful thing about one of the beautiful things about the world is the differences. What I can't handle, other people can. If there's stuff that I'm just like, man, that just zaps me. I don't want to do that. We'll put off those things too. If we don't like to do something. Sorry. Um, we'll put off what we don't want to do. And there's all kinds of different people. There's people who can look at something and say, it's been a while since I changed my faucet washers. I'm going to change my faucet washers, because they're just looking for shit to do. And there's other people who it's like, hey, we got this massive leak that's gone from the washers down to the floor and it's about to cave in. And they're like, I'll get to it tomorrow or next week. Some people just seriously like have no concept of shit's going to get worse. Now, on that same token, if you're looking at a drippy faucet, okay? You got the person who's going to fix it before it's even broken. They're going to do their maintenance on it. They're going to do it. And then you got the person that says, there's a little leak. I need to check into that. Now, whether it takes them a day or a week is all up to them when they can squeeze that in, because it's not a problem yet, but they know that it could be a problem, but it doesn't have to happen like right this second. The other person, then you got the one at the far end of the spectrum, they're just like, oh shit, mama just fell through the floor. We're gonna have to get the forklift to get her up. I have lived with somebody like that, and I have lived with somebody who just doesn't grasp the concept of rest. You don't have to do something. There's people, you see some people and you're like, how in the world do they do all that they do? Like, they're always busy. They are always busy. Like, they legitimately, if you say, hey, when can we go have lunch? They pull out their phone and they check their calendar. And they're like, well, I got 3 weeks from now on Tuesday between 7:15 and 7:30. Will that work for you? And you gotta think, how do they do that? When do they rest? Some people, excuse me, handle that really well. So they're not necessarily tired. Even though you would say, oh my God, they're so busy. How do they function? That's just too much to do all the time. Everybody's different. And you got to think of how they're spending that time. If they're spending that time doing something that feeds a need that they have and gives them purpose, like if they're supposed to meet with clients all the time. Well, if they're an extrovert, then going to functions where they meet people is actually healing for them. If they're an introvert, that is totally not the job for them. They will be drained, plain and simple. And excuse me, I told you I'd be yawning a lot today. But it's all about how you spend your energy. Like, if you're doing something that energizes you, like, I know, like, a lot of times aerobics people, they seem, you'll see people, they'll do like so many classes per day. Like, oh, I led 3 spin classes, and everybody's like, 3? I couldn't even finish one. But it's about if they love it, if it energizes them, if it makes them feel good. the end of the day, maybe they can sleep better because they have worn out their body. Excuse me. So we all have different levels of what overwhelms us. Um, a lot of times people, like with myself, I'll look at some of the things I've been through. Yeah, those were bad for me. But when I compare it to what somebody else has gone through, I'm always like, but it's not, it's not even worth me mentioning it because it wasn't this. When I invalidate that, well, it's the same with like being overwhelmed. When you say, ugh, dealing with this is no big deal, this isn't a problem. Why is that person crying over there over this? Because that person doesn't deal with that particular problem very well. You know? And it's not on them. I mean, it's not their shortcoming. They're better at other things. Um, I don't do so well with grief. When people are grieving in front of me, I do not do so well because I feel it, and then it's like I knew that person. So working in a hospital, once I realized like bad things happen there, working in a hospital was not something that I wanted to do. Because I mean, when I was in the hospital, I wanted to be a nurse. I was like, I would love to be a nurse. The nurses are all so nice and pretty and stuff. And then I found out, that people die in hospitals. And they had to give shots. At the time, giving shots was the most horrible thing I could think to do to somebody, was to give them a shot. I was like, I don't want to draw blood from, I don't want to poke people with needles, you know. Now it's like, well, that's not so big of a deal because I'd be that nurse that would never miss the vein. I would make sure of it because I wouldn't want to be, I would get perfect at it. I know I would because I hate it when they can't find the vein or they leave a bruise on you or they splash your blood across the room. Fucking sucks. I mean, I'd figure out some way to get good at it real quick. But I found out people die. Bad things happen to people and they go to the hospital and there are things that you can't unsee. And there are certain sights I don't want weighing on me because they would. There are certain things that I wouldn't be, I mean, it's one thing to hear, oh, a child's abused, their parents beat them up. It's another thing to see that child. And I would probably catch a case if I was a nurse and somebody brought in an abused child, and if their parent come by, the one that beat them, I would probably, well, I probably wouldn't do anything, but I really want to. I mean, let's face it, I'm not a violent person. I have only went after one person, and I didn't even use my fists on him. I just wanted my fucking keys back. But how you spend your time is important, and your body tells you what you need, what you want. When somebody's like, I'm so tired, you need to do something. Now, does that mean you need to go home and go to sleep? No. What are you thinking about when you say, oh, I'm so tired? Are you just wanting to lay down, maybe rest your eyes, take a little nap, or do you need like the full sleep? Are you just wanting to like get underneath, like sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, it's like I'm so ready for a bath. Or it's kind of like, man, I'm hungry. You know what you want to see in the fridge, freezer, or cabinet when you open it. You know what you want. You may not mentally say like Ritz crackers, or Rocky Road ice cream. But when you go in there and you open those doors, your brain knows what it wants because you'll zoom in on it and go, yes, that is what I want. And if you don't find anything, like if you open those and you're like, there's nothing to eat, You know what you want. I mean, that person can normally say, I wanted to find this in there. They know what they want. Everybody knows what they want. And what you want, a lot of times, is what you need mentally. You know, it's going to spark whatever it is that you need to feel. So it's important to trust your judgment on, you know, when you're like, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. Figure out a way to conserve your energy. If it doesn't have to be done today, then do it tomorrow. If it doesn't have to be done until next week, pencil it in. You know, maybe not wait till the last minute, but you know, if you got 1,000 things to do in 100 days, you can do 10 things per day. You can schedule that shit. You know, if you got 1,000 things to do in one day, by God, I feel bad for you. You asked for too much stuff. You are accepting too much. You need an assistant. Because it's when you've got too much to do, you get overwhelmed. And like I said, everybody's different on the kinds of things and how much they can do. It's kind of like eating dinner. You know, what one person can put in their stomach, the other person can't, or it varies day by day. You know, or it has to do with how well it's prepared, or there's so many variables. But anyway, you know, it's important to remember that you can't do everything all at once. You know, I mean, babies don't pop out and run. They have to build their legs up. You know, it's not an overnight thing. You know, and it's the same way with life. You know, I mean, it's like, now if you let everything slide, then yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get caught up. But you still have to look at what has to be done right now. What can wait? What will keep? And if it'll keep and you're not putting too many things over there, it'll keep. If you've got somebody who can help you do something, somebody who can make a couple of phone calls or drop off something or pick up something, enlist their help. Because I think a lot of people are willing to help. You know, to them, it's no big deal to swing by the post office and pick up your mail if it's out of your way. Or drop off a box of donations to Goodwill, you know, because maybe they're headed that direction. I mean, sometimes people don't mind doing shit, and it saves you one of the millions of things you've got to do. I mean, as long as you're not asking them to pay something for you, a lot of times people are pretty good about, well, yeah, I got time to do that. Anything you need, you just ask. They just say, you just ask. You know, it's no big deal. Just like opening a door for somebody. You're opening the door anyway. Why not just stand there and let somebody walk in ahead of you? So you go in like half a sec, you know, like a second later. You know, people don't really mind helping for the most part, as long as it's not something that expends more energy than they're willing to give somebody. And the thing is the closer, you know, well, I can't say the closer somebody is to you. A lot of times the people who love you will expend more energy on you. They will do that for you. And if you're lucky, they won't tell you how much they do for you. You know, they won't like lay it on thick that I've done this and this and this and this and this for you. You know, no, I hate people like that. I really do. It's like, hey, don't do stuff for people just so later on you can say, well, I did this and this and this and this and this for you. What are you going to do for me? No, 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 no. No. If you expect something, then you come up with that shit before you say you'll do it. I mean, that only makes sense, right? Don't lay conditions on me after you've done the thing. Lay conditions on before, because then I can decide whether it's worth what you want me to pay. You know, because sometimes it is. This is why there are so many companies out there that make tons of money on doing shit like delivering food to you because you don't want to go sit in the Taco Bell drive-through. You know, people make money doing that. People make money doing all kinds of delivery type things, or going to the grocery store, or doing certain chores in your house. People pay people because they don't want to spend their energy on that. So going into this new year, try to think of what you want to incorporate more of into your life. One little thing. You know, just one thing. Not something big. Don't say, I'm going to work out 3 hours a day in the gym. No. Start with, I'm going to visit a gym. And then when you visit, say, I might get on a couple of the machines. Do a little bit. You know, just kind of check out how that machine feels. Then it's raining outside. I might walk on that treadmill for about 20 minutes on no elevation at a leisurely speed. You know, just work yourself up to something. Don't even go in with the goal of, I'm going to get in shape or I'm going to accomplish it. No. Just, I need to be healthier. So, I'm going to visit a gym. Don't even, you know, that way if you visit, you're not even beating yourself up if you don't do anything. You went in, you checked it out, it didn't feel right to you. That's okay. Maybe you're not meant to do it. Maybe you're meant to do it at home. Maybe you're meant to get on a bicycle and ride around town. Not a bad idea. Bicycle with a basket. Sorry, just thinking out loud. So, as I always say, every moment is an opportunity to turn things around. A shitty day, it's not a shitty life. You know, just call it a shitty moment or a hiccup. And do your best to not necessarily turn that frown upside down, but, you know, hey, sometimes when things don't work out the way that we want them to, it doesn't mean that we didn't learn something, that we didn't gain something valuable that we're going to need in the future. So, you know, if you failed at something today, you might have learned something that's going to help you in the future. That failure is not a failure. It's a failure for today, but it's not a failure for later. And you're not. If you're having a bad day, if day goes where nothing went right. I mean, I was burning pancakes this morning. I wanted pancakes so bad, and I kept fucking burning them. And I was like, fuck these pancakes, fuck this pan, fuck this stove, fuck this kitchen, fuck me, fuck this day, I'm going to bed. The day can suck on a wooden dildo and get splinters. That's the kind of morning I had. And I was crying. Eventually. I can't remember why I was crying, but it wasn't about the pancakes. I was just pissed about the pancakes. Not even really pissed, just kind of like, ugh. One of those self-pity moments of, you can't even fucking make pancakes. And it's okay to engage in one of those moments, as long as, try not to break anything, try not to hurt anybody, try not to hurt yourself. Have your little moment, let it out, scream in a pillow, whatever works for you. But I'm going to go now. And things are going to get better. I'm going to make it so. And anybody that wants to work against me on that, I don't know what to say about that. But anybody that wants to work against me, they're more than free to. I am still going to do well, regardless of if I got the odds stacked against me. I can stack a deck too. I can do anything aside from spin my arms and fly. That kind of thing. Because I will never own up to being able to do anything. I cannot flap my arms and lift off the ground. Just can't do it. So anyway, have a good day and good night.